When Mila mentioned she had a short business trip coming up, I didn't think much of it. She had traveled for her marketing job before, usually returning with stories about endless meetings and hotel breakfasts that tasted like cardboard. We had been married for 12 years, with 2 children, Liam, who had just turned 8, and little Ava, who still muddled letters when she read. Our life wasn't flawless, but it was steady, familiar, and warm where it counted. But this time felt different the moment she brought it up. She avoided my gaze. Her tone was unnaturally light, almost practiced, and she casually mentioned it on a Wednesday evening while pretending to search for her keys, which struck me as odd, because she always knew exactly where they were. She said it would only be 2 nights, a Chicago conference, late quarter marketing push. Really boring stuff, she added. I nodded, kissed her forehead, and stayed silent. I didn't want to argue in front of the kids. And deep down, I didn't want to acknowledge the quiet alarm that was already buzzing in my chest. She packed hurriedly, dressed meticulously, hugged the children a little too tightly, and when she embraced me, her hands trembled. I asked no questions. Not then. The next morning, after dropping Liam and Ava at school, I stopped by her office to return a charger she had left behind. Her team told me she had taken the previous day off and that her next conference wasn't scheduled until the following month. The unease that had been a whisper in my chest now solidified into a chilling certainty. I didn't confront her, didn't text, didn't yell. I went home, made dinner for the kids, and waited, telling myself I needed proof, something undeniable, because I refused to dismantle our family on mere suspicion. That night, she called from her hotel room. I put her on speaker so the kids could say goodnight. Her voice sounded tense, strained, her words hurried, blaming the Wi-Fi. After tucking the children in, I sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at the empty chair where she usually sat a day. The house felt too quiet without her laughter bouncing through the hallways. But I wasn't lonely. I felt a distance, as though she were already somewhere else. That's when the idea came, not out of anger or vengeance, but out of the need for clarity. I told the kids we were going on a surprise trip the next morning. I packed their backpacks with snacks and set out before sunrise. Liam thought we were heading to a theme park. Ava guessed the beach. They had no idea that the weight in the passenger seat beside me was the truth I was about to uncover. The hotel rose before us, a sleek glass tower reflecting the morning sky. I held my children's hands tightly as we entered, my chest tight with anticipation. At the front desk, I asked if a woman named Mahapa had checked in. She had, 2 nights, King Suite, keycard active. I thanked the clerk and walked toward the elevator, my palms slick with sweat. Doubt swirled. What if I was wrong? What if she was sick, or dealing with something she hadn't told us? But as soon as the elevator doors opened onto her floor, any hope dissolved. From down the hall came a man's deep, easy voice, followed by a muffled laugh. Then Mila's voice, soft and familiar in a way it hadn't been for months. Liam tugged my hand. Dad, can we knock now? I want to surprise Mommy. Ava nodded, pigtails bouncing with excitement. Yeah, she'll be so happy. My throat tightened painfully. I led them to the door, heart hammering. If I opened it, she would have time to spin excuses, to hide behind rehearsed words. But if the kids did, there would be no room for her lies. Only reality, raw and undeniable, waiting on the other side. I crouched down to their level and whispered, "Go on, knock." Mommy's inside, they giggled, stepping forward with pure excitement. Their tiny hands tapped on the door. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the lock clicked, the handle turned, and the door swung open, revealing everything I had been dreading. Mila stood there, robe loosely tied, hair messy, cheeks flushed, eyes widening the instant she saw the kids. For a brief second, her expression softened into a smile, pure instinct, pure mother, but then it faltered. Panic flashed across her face the moment she realized I was behind them. Liam ran forward with a laugh, wrapping his arms around her legs. "Mom, we surprised you." Ava squeezed her waist in a tight hug. "Daddy brought us. We came to your hotel." Mila froze, hands hovering mid-air, unsure whether to embrace them or protect herself. "Kids, what are you doing here?" Her voice trembled. Then, Behind her, Nathan Cole appeared. Shirtless, silent, a stunned expression on his face as he processed the scene. Liam looked up innocently. "Mommy, is that your friend?" Mila stepped in front, trying to block them, but it was too late. The truth was visible. Silence stretched between us. Dense, heavy, filled with all the things nobody wanted to say. I didn't yell or demand answers. I simply met Mila's eyes, letting her feel the shift in me that couldn't be undone. "Mila," I said quietly, "let them get their shoes on. We'll talk outside." She nodded stiffly, ushering the children inside. My chest tightened when I glimpsed the hotel room. A single king bed, sheets messy, clothes scattered. My children, oblivious, stepped over the remnants of betrayal, their innocence shielding them from understanding the weight of what they'd just seen. Once they were ready, I led them back to the hallway. Mila followed, clutching her robe as if fabric could hide her guilt. Nathan stayed inside, wisely avoiding the doorway. I knelt to the kids. "Why don't you wait by the elevator? Hold hands and stay right here." They did as asked, without hesitation. Now it was just Mila and me. "How long?" I asked. Her lips parted slightly. She blinked rapidly, avoiding my gaze. "Daniel, it's not what it looks like." "Then tell me what it is." Her eyes flicked to the carpet, then the wall, everywhere but me. "It started a couple of months ago. I didn't plan it. I felt distant from us, from everything. And Nathan paid attention. That's all. It wasn't supposed to go this far." I exhaled a breath I'd been holding since yesterday. "And the business trip?" She closed her eyes. I panicked. "I didn't know how to talk to you." I nodded slowly, not in agreement, but in understanding. Emotional distance doesn't speak, it flees. And she had been running long before the suitcase ever touched the car. "You brought our kids here, Daniel," she whispered, as though realizing the weight of it all. "No," I said softly. "You brought them. I just let them open the door you locked behind you." Her breath hitched, a tiny, broken sound. For years, I'd tried to be patient, to listen, to adapt. Somewhere along the way, I'd stopped noticing that she had already checked out of our marriage long before she walked into that hotel room. "Mila," I said gently, "we're done. Not because you cheated, but because you gave up on us without telling me." She opened her mouth to speak, then froze, shoulders slumping under the weight of truth. "Can we at least talk about something? Anything? The kids?" "Yes," I said. "We'll co-parent. We'll be civil. We'll give them everything they deserve. But I can't fix a marriage alone." Tears formed but didn't fall. She wasn't cruel, not a bad mother. Just someone who had walked away from the fire long before she let it burn out completely. I walked past her toward Liam and Ava, still holding hands by the elevator, counting ceiling lights. "Ready to go home?" I asked. They nodded, smiles intact. As the elevator doors closed, Mila lingered behind us, arms wrapped around herself, small against the long hallway. She whispered my name once, quietly, like a hope she already knew was lost. I didn't turn. Some doors, once opened, don't close again. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but because truth has a way of ending stories you didn't even realize were over.